Hi, we're up to part 10 of Biotechnology Revealed. As you've seen from the earlier parts, that everything about biologics is extremely expensive. And of course, the cost to the customer is extremely expensive too, up to 70 times more than a conventional drug. So what can we do about it? How can we cut costs? And is there a way of making generic biologics? Well, currently there is not, but there is a bill before Congress, pathway to biosimilars, which would create a way of making generic versions of biotechnology drugs that currently does not exist. This bill would have to be passed for there to be any hope of anything made in a generic form of these biologics. It can't be done right now. Is this legislation going to be worth anything really to the public? Let's take a look. Here's a list of the top 20 biologics and their approximate annual treatment costs. I've shown this to you before. We're not really concerned about the cost. The cost is astronomical for most of them. But if you look in the far right column is the estimated U.S. patent expiration date. And if you look, as I said, Enbrel's at the top, currently has over $7 billion a year in annual sales. That comes off patent this year. And if you look at the highlighted areas, you'll see about half of these top 20 biologics are off patent right now or will be off patent within the next year. So that is a lot of medication that could be made in a generic form. Here we have an article for Patent Docs as of January of 09 that the Teva CEO predicts passage of follow-on biologics in 2009. Medco also announced, if you read the highlighted area, that if Congress could meet such a timeline, more than $34 billion worth of biogeneric drugs could become available in this country between 2013 and 2017. Last week, Reuters reported that Teva North America's CEO Bill Moth predicted that there was a very good chance Congress would pass a follow-on biologic bill in 2009, as I said. And this is basically the number of the bills. H.R. 5629, providing 12 years of exclusivity, or S. 1695, also providing 12 years of exclusivity. Either way, it looks like a long way off. And to make these follow-on biologics or biosimilars is not as easy as making a generic regular pharmaceutical drug. They're very, very complex, and in fact here is even a storage enzyme gets biosimilar rejection, builds an R&D plant. Let's see if I can pull that in. The FDA has given a thumbs down to Genzyme's request for permission to sell its Poppy's disease drug Myozyme, manufactured in Alston plant. Genzyme is already manufacturing the drug in a smaller Framingham-based plant and wants to ramp up production at the larger Alston location. But the FDA ruled that Alston-produced Myozyme must be classified as a different product because of differences in the carbohydrate structure of the molecules. The FDA said Genzyme has to submit a separate BLA to gain approval for Myozyme on a larger scale. Now this is a company trying to reproduce its own drug in a different plant, and it's having a hard time doing it. So that is a great bone of contention with biosimilars, that even though you can make it, it might not exactly be the same thing, and they want it to go through clinical trials. So I don't know where we're going with biosimilars as far as even if it gets passed. And here you have a statement here Monoclonal antibodies like Rituxan are currently insulated from generic competition, primarily due to the high barriers to entry pursuant with their methods of production. As you've seen in the earlier parts of this series, that it's the most expensive thing to produce anytime, anywhere. You're not going to see a lot of generics even wanting to copy these things. In Europe, they have approval to do some similars, but they are mainly human growth hormones and insulin. The more complex biologics, they're not even trying to reproduce. So even with the passage of the pathway to biosimilars, you're not going to have any cost savings for at least the middle of next, 2015, before any of it is even available. And they're not even going to try to copy the larger molecules that are the money makers, actually. And also, that in researching, I haven't seen anyone building a plant, not All Labs, Mylan, Teva, Watson, Forest. Sandoz builds something, but they make stuff in Europe. So they're not even building the plants that take 5 years to come online and get approved. So this bill will be window dressing, unless there's some part of the bill that will be used for some other purpose, like maybe get a go-ahead for another method of producing these drugs. That's the only good thing I see out of this bill, at least for 5-7 years. So, in summary, biosimilars, they're not going to help us. Not for a long time. See you next time. Bye.